Hey, everybody. It is that time again. How's it going? It's 3 o'clock. It is Command 201 time. So that means we're going to be talking about something advanced. That means, put your thinking caps on for this one. We're going to be doing some heavy duty lifting here. It's Robert Vincent. It is, today is November 9th. Holy cow, it's flying by. I'm excited because in a couple, 3 weeks there, oh gosh, two and a half weeks, whatever it is, I'm going to see ours down in, Northampton. Not sure what the town is. Going down to see ours and having a nice Thanksgiving dinner down there with the wife. Looking forward to it. It's, we've done it a few years, and it's a nice place. Good food. Looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we are talking today about Facebook ads. Facebook paid ads. So if you have not ever done one and you'd like to talk about it, please feel free to come on in. I am on Zoom at kwtechtv.com. We are, of course, live here on Facebook at the Facebook KWCLM group. And if you're interested, we are also on YouTube at kwtechtube.com. So if you're watching, you're on one of those three. Hey, you know what? It'd be really fun. Go ahead and join the other two and see about the delays, and you can totally get the echoes going on. Yeah, that's how to learn. That's a good time. All right. So let's go ahead and start getting into this. I guess the first thing I need to do is make sure that shows you the correct screen. And look at all that stuff that I just put away. Well, it was all sitting there. Like you were seeing the behind the scenes there for a minute. Woo! All right. So we are now looking right now at Command. You're actually looking at my task section here, my task applet. And I don't know if you guys know this, but they redid the task applet recently, and I've been playing around with it. I really, really like what they've done with it. The functionality in tasks has always been kind of like, okay, tasks. You put a task in, the task fires, and then you see something pop up, big deal. But there's some really cool functionality in here that they've added. If you hadn't had a chance to play around with it yet, I strongly urge that you go and check out the new tasks applet in Command. I think you'll dig it. But for today, we're going to be focusing on campaigns, specifically paid campaigns with Facebook ads. Before we start looking at how that actually works from the perspective of putting it all together, we're going to take a look at some of the things that we need to get set up in behind the scenes in order to make this work. And one of the most important things before we even start talking with Command is taking a look at Facebook. So we're going to jump into Facebook here. And I'm jumping into my Facebook account. I'm not jumping into the Facebook group account. We're going to jump into my Facebook account, and I want you to start off here. We're going to jump in here, and hey, look at this. I think we're live. Yeah, we're live right now. I wonder what happens if I click it. Ooh, should I do it? Get the infinity screen? No. We're not going to do it. So this is my Facebook page here, and as you can see, one of the main thing that I post here is the classes. That's really what I do. So that's all I post there, which is interesting because if you're looking to find out, some of the classes and you just want to isolate in on Facebook and see those classes, go to my Facebook page, which is very easily. Let's see. We'll go to the main one here. We'll go to this little guy. And I'll show you. It's MCTT463. So my little Facebook page for the local, what do you call it? Market Center is if you go to facebook.com/MCTT463, you will see all of the trainings that have been held specifically and exclusively. That's all that I post here. So you can go back through and see all of the cool little trainings. Then you see them all there. So definitely check that out. If you don't want to go to YouTube, if you just want to see some videos on Facebook. Okay. So the reason I'm starting here is because we need to make sure that we have the page that I just showed you. We need to have a Facebook business page in order to post ads on Facebook and purchase ads on Facebook. Don't confuse this with just doing social posting on Facebook. We can do that technically from a technicals perspective only. We can do that without a business page. We can just post stuff. However, posting stuff for Keller Williams, you still need a Facebook business page. And so a Facebook business page, if I go back to my main Facebook feed here, when you're looking at your feed on the left-hand side, you're going to see a section for pages. When you click on pages, just make sure that you have a Facebook business page built. If you do not, there are videos that I've created and there are videos available online, and there are classes that I teach how to create a Facebook business page. For right now, you can actually see that I have 4 of them. I have 4 different pages. The main one that I use is the one at the very top here, Robert Vincent, MCTT. That's that one where I said facebook.com/MCTT. That's my main Facebook business page. If you don't have one of those, you're not going to be able to move forward with what we're doing here. So with that knowledge, with that set up there, get that Facebook business page done, and then you can come back to Command. So go ahead. I'll wait. Anyone? You guys done? No? You're not done? You done? You're done. Okay. Did you do it right? Did you check with compliance to make sure that it's right? Of course you did. Who wouldn't, right? Compliance all day, every day. Good times. All right. So now that you've got your Facebook business page, you're going to come over here to your profile settings in Command, and you're going to open up that little profile icon in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to choose Settings. So you're going to go down to Settings. And we need to connect now to that Facebook business page. Now, there are actually a couple of different things that are going on here in the settings. In the integrations section, which is the first page you land on when you click on the profile icon and choose settings, that's what you're going to land on is that more integrations, applications, and connected apps. That's what you're going to see. When you slide down a little bit, you're going to see Facebook post scheduling. And if you slide down a little bit further, you're going to see Facebook Ads Manager. The one we're interested in right now is Facebook Ads Manager. In either case, if you click on the Connect button for either one of those, it will show you the option to connect to your Facebook business page for post scheduling and for your Ads Manager. But you will need to do both. So whichever one you start with first, make sure that you connect to your primary Facebook account and select your business page. So what I'm saying is, when you log in here, it's going to ask you to log into your primary personal Facebook page. Okay? And then once it's there, it's going to say, now which page do you want to associate with Command? And that's when you select your Facebook business page. Confirm it, set it up in there, and you're good to go. Once those steps have been completed, we need to make sure, once again, more information here, that in the Connect settings on the left-hand side, under Marketing Profile, we're going to go over here, and we're going to make sure that you have your complete marketing profile laid out. Okay, so let's recap real quick. 1, create a Facebook business page. 2, connect that Facebook business page to Command. 3, verify that you have your marketing profile completely filled out with all of the potential information, all the information you need, so that when we do this next step and move on, we'll have it so that you won't run into any problems. Step number 4 is actually something that happens in the campaigns area on the left-hand side with your menu of all the different applets. If you come down here to campaigns, when you click on campaigns, it's going to bring you to the dashboard for all of your campaigns. On the right-hand side, it says connected accounts. You should see your Facebook connection right there. And if you have other accounts connected, they will show up as well. When you see that, you're good to go, and you can manage it here if you needed to. Now, that's for the paid ads. There is a social ads button right here, so make sure that you see your Facebook in both of those, and you should be good to go. All right. Now, in the paid ads section, and I'm talking about the top of the screen, not the one down here under connected accounts, but at the top of the screen, when you click on that, you're going to see a paid ads option here. You're probably going to see a bunch of zeros because one of the reasons you're here is we're learning how to do this for the first time. So none of this stuff is going to be here. Just as a point of reference for all of you, I don't actually purchase ads on Facebook, so I've got everything that I've built ever is in draft mode here. However, if I had actually published these and purchased those ads, I would start to see cost per 1,000 clicks. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that's what that means. That little eye off to the right-hand side gives you the information for what those little buttons mean. CPM stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. I should say that. Cost per 1,000 impressions, cost per click, cost per lead clicked, and the spend. So I'll click that little I button again and bring it back up here for you. So the clicks, cost per 1,000 impressions, cost per link click or lead click, leads captured, and cost per lead captured. Okay. So there's the information about what those little buttons mean or what those little values mean. So what's nice about this is you're actually going to see the cost per click. You're going to see, all right, it cost me this ad to get those clicks and leads, cost per leads cost me X dollars. So it's really nice that they give you that information. But again, you won't see anything in there just yet, but as you grow and start to build these ads, you will. But because we are setting this up for the first time, the next step is to go into payments. And that's right next to the Create a Campaign button. You will need to add a payment method so that you can purchase these ads. So in the payment method area, down here in the bottom left, there is an add payment method. We click on that. Of course, you're going to enter your credit card information. And once you entered that, it'll verify it. Click add card, and you will now have your card in here. And if you can have multiple cards in here so that you can purchase multiple ads on multiple cards. Okay. All right. At the bottom, you will also see an add spend metrics box here that's going to show you all of your costs for all of your campaigns. And if you're using multiple channels, we've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Command Email, MailChimp, Google AdWords, and Real Mailers. So if you're using any of those, you will see the cost for those values or for those campaigns there. All right, let's go back to the paid ads page here. And let's just, once again, really quick, Facebook business page, got to have it. It does take a couple days to set that up, to get it right and to get it functioning. And then you're going to make sure that your integrations are connected to those Facebook pages. Then you're going to make sure that your marketing profile is fully filled out. Then you're going to come over to this page and you're going to set up your payments, adding your credit cards. And then finally, number 5, on the Facebook, on the paid ads page, you can then begin to create a campaign. Except I'm not, because I want to talk now about what the campaign is going to be. So I'm going to actually go over to this other webpage. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to search for Great Facebook Real Estate Ads. Facebook, I don't want that one. I want Great Facebook ads. Great Facebook ads for real estate. That's what I want. Ads for real estate. Okay. And what I'm looking for here is I'm just going to go to images and I'm going to start to look at Facebook ads that have been placed and that some people, that they think, hey, that's a great ad. So this is what you want to do. You want to come to this Google search and search for some different terminology and look at what people are posting for Facebook ads. And we're going to talk in a few moments about what types of ads you can put on Facebook in terms of the message. But this is going to hopefully give you some inspiration and kind of get you going, get your blood flowing to give you ideas for what you want your Facebook ad to look like. One thing that's really, really important to remember is that a Facebook ad is going to use potentially a graphic image, or it's going to use a listing and its listing information to get your message across. There really is only the two, because we're going to create an ad and design it out just like the old ad houses, and we're going to make it look the way we want, and that's going to be the ad. Or we're going to use the internal mechanisms to create an ad based on a listing and have it kind of pre-populate some information. So there's not much in terms of what we have for choices, but within those choices, the most powerful one is to create your own ad with your own design and your own message. And that's why coming over and looking at a page like this is really important, to give you that inspiration, to give you those ideas on what to create. Okay, so now that we have that there, you're going to have to take a pause when you get to this point in the process, when you're about to click that Create Campaign button, because you have to ask yourself, have I created the message? And I talk about this all the time, and every time that Alana Babineau, our marketing guru here, every time we're on and we talk about this, we always kind of go back to the same message. It's really easy to do what I'm about to do here to create the ad. Honestly, you almost can't mess it up. Just to lay that on the table. And it's not hard to do this. What is hard is defining your message and making it speak the way you want it to speak. Your voice is important. So with that said, we can go, if we wanted to, we can come over to the designs area and we can create a new design based on, we got a social thing here. We can use this one. Based on social, we can use an example set of templates that are pre-built for you, for buyers, for listings, for your app to kind of push the app. We have just sold, just listed, for sale, coming soon. We've got all these pre-built ads that you can absolutely pull from that can inspire you as well. So I went to Google and searched for great real estate ads for Facebook. But also remember, they are here, and you can do social stories in size, social squares, or social wide posts. And there's a lot of different options. This again can inspire you, but you're going to have to do something here before you create your ad. Unless your ad that you've decided to create is not based on a design or a graphic or an image, but it's based on an actual listing. So you can use the built-in paid ads tools to generate an ad for a listing using the listing images and using the listing information. And that's what we're going to do first. Okay. So I'm going to start with creating a campaign without going outside to design the ad. We're going to do it right inside the Facebook designer here. So I clicked on the create. Let me just go slower with that. Up here in the right-hand corner, when I'm on the designs or on the campaigns applet, I chose paid ads. On the paid ads page, on the create campaign button in the top right-hand corner, I click that. And here are my options: social ad paid, a Google AdWords paid, a social post, a direct mail post, or an email campaign. Well, this class is all about Facebook ads, so we're going to choose social ad. When we click on social ad, the first thing you're going to do is put in a name for your campaign. Keep in mind that the name of the campaign that you put here should not be arbitrary or just dismissive. You should actually think about this, and you should put in here something that makes sense, because when you receive the leads that come back from this Facebook ad, they're going to be tied to the campaign name. So you're going to know that they came back from this one ad. So easily to kind of put this together, 8765309 Jenny Lane in Hollywood. It's not real. As a matter of fact, that would be I don't think there's any lane in Hollywood that goes for that many digits. But I think you get where I'm going with this. If not, call me. All right. So anyways, we have our name here, and be specific about this. Actually, I don't know what the address is of the actual listing that I'm going to bring in for this, because I'm going to find one just arbitrary. But let's say for now that it's actually Jenny Lane in Hollywood. Okay. So this ad is going to be this campaign. Now down below, you can see that we can advertise a listing, attract listings, do a brand awareness campaign, attract buyers, advertise multiple listings, attract talent, event awareness, or other. And this is something that you want to kind of think about and plan out. Are you doing just a simple advertising of a listing and you're going to pay for that? Are you going to put multiples? Are you trying to just do an event awareness? Maybe it's a charity event. Maybe it's an open house coming up. Or are you just trying to promote your brand and just let people know what you do? For $10, by the way, for these little brand awareness ads, you absolutely cannot go wrong. Brand awareness can get you sometimes further than any of those other things because, as you know, awareness contributes to your success because people seeing your name out there are going to see it and go, oh, I know this person. I've seen this ad a few times. It's like Coca-Cola. The more you see things, the more you want to go get a Coca-Cola. I particularly don't, but I know people that do. All right, so we're going to do an advertised listing. So advertised listing is my choice. It turns it blue, kind of pushes all these out of here. Now, by the way, if you change your mind when we go to the next step, you can change it a couple of times, but kind of think about it before you begin. So I'll slide down to the bottom of this dialog box and it says to me, what channels do you want to run this campaign in? Well, I'm only set up to demonstrate this in Facebook, but the other ones essentially are identical. The building of the ad does not change, but the display of the ad may change depending on the location of where it's going. So you want to pay attention to that. So I'm going to choose Facebook. I've got my name, I've got my message, what is the goal, and I've got my campaign channel. So I'll click on Create Campaign. So now that I create campaign, it's going to pop up because I chose to set this campaign up as a listing, to advertise a listing. It immediately popped up a dialogue and said, what listing? Where are we going? What are we doing? Because the type of campaign is an advertised listing, I don't even get to see the Facebook page that the ad builder that I'm working on behind the scenes until I put the listing in there. Now, I'm not an agent, so I'll come over here to only my listings. There ain't going to be any there. And I'll click on all listings. And I'm going to go with something Lane in Hollywood, California. Now, I'm wondering if there's, look at that, 404 Hollywood Lane. And that's in Sulphur, Louisiana. Lakeland, Forest Palms, California, California City. Do I have anything cool? I don't have anything in Hollywood, California, do I? I don't know. I don't know of any lanes in California. So, all right, doesn't matter. All right, so I'm just going to choose this one here, 404 Hollywood Lane, because I like it. So we'll choose that. And I'm going to go ahead and hit select. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm being very arbitrary here, and I'm not being very thoughtful about the listing because I'm just doing this to demonstrate the ad. But what we get when we do this is we get on the right-hand side here, and by the way, where it says the name and goal here, I put down that I wanted something Jenny Lane in Hollywood. So I'm going to replace that now with the name 404 Hollywood Lane, and it's in Sulphur, Louisiana. So I know this is my new name because now I have a listing that I'm actually going to use. All right. So here is a post preview on the right-hand side. Well, the first thing we've done is we added a listing because we chose a listing. And then on the right, we can now see the Facebook preview web feed and a Facebook preview mobile feed. So it shows you both versions. Before we even get further down the line and start working with things, we can see what it's going to look like on web or mobile. And I'm going to spend about 3 seconds to explain to you 90 some odd percent, ask Alana, she knows the number, 90 some odd percent of viewers to Facebook see things on mobile. Okay. Think about yourself sitting around the house or being out and about. You browse most of the time. Facebook is done on mobile. I do it mostly on desktop because I'm working here at the office and I'm involved with working on Facebook. That's a little bit different, but most users are on mobile. Okay, so I'm going to use the mobile preview as what we do for building it as we go forward. So as we build, notice that there's little, each section that we need to work on to build this ad. As you complete them, you're going to get a little green check mark, And it's going to say, okay, that section's done. And it will collapse that section and get it out of your way. So my name and goal with my address and my purpose or my goal here is advertise listing. That's done. So I got my little green check mark. Next up is the listing. The listing's been added, so it's in the listing area. So it's done because it's there. Now we have the next sections down here. We have text, media, Facebook settings, lead settings, and duration and budget. When we get to duration and budget, once we get it all filled out, the top right-hand side, the publish campaign will light up. Okay, so we'll start with text because that's the next one on the list. So I click on the text header and it opens it up. And what do we have here? Now we already have in this dialog box for main copy, something's already written. And if I look at this text here and I go to the right-hand side in the preview, I can see where that text is going in. A couple things. Number one, this box can hold a maximum of 250 characters, which you can see down here in the right-hand corner. Currently, I'm using 167 characters. And if I hit the 250, that's it. End of game. It won't allow me to put any more characters. In this area here, we also have a little emoji button down in the bottom right-hand corner of the option or the dialog box for main copy. So we can add emojis. And although I'm personally not a big fan of emojis, that does not matter when it comes to this statement. Emojis are effective. Emojis stop people. A lot of people try to figure out if there's a little sentence written in the emojis. They enjoy it. They enjoy looking at them. They enjoy trying to figure out what they mean, and they enjoy the interaction. So use emojis. Feel free to put them in there. Put dollar signs in there, money bags in there, happy things, houses, whatever it is that you want to put in here. And I'm not even going to begin to suggest any emojis. I'm just going to say, all right, I'm going to put a happy smiley face there. That's about as far as I need to go. Now, one of the things that was talked about in one of the national forums for this particular tool was if you put your cursor somewhere in the middle of the text, if I'm not mistaken, unless they fixed it, let's see what happens here. Previously, apparently the emojis always would popped at the end, but let's see what happens. I've got my cursor flashing in the middle of the text fields here, and I'm going to go ahead and put in another. Yep, it's true. So you will notice that if you try to put an emoji in the middle of your text of the main copy, it will always pop the emojis at the end. However, a little copy and paste will fix that, because once the emoji is on the screen, you can then use copy and paste to put the emoji anywhere you want and then remove it from the end if necessary. So keep that in mind as you build your Facebook business page. Steve, good to see you here. Thanks for joining me. And it can be used in the subject lines of emails to increase the open rate. Perfect example. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because again, as I said, I'm not a big fan of them, but that's just a personal thing. However, they are effective. And as evidenced by Steve, who I completely trust on this, because I think he's got like 17 letters with initials after his name. So I'm going to go with trust Steve on this. So that is how you put the emojis in there. If you can't get them in the middle and if it doesn't seem like it's doing it and popping it at the end, remember, you can always just go in there and copy and paste and put them anywhere in the text you want. But remember also that you are limited on the amount of text that you can put in here. And you can also watch that text show up in the preview on the right-hand side. The default text that you're seeing here is the default text from the MLS. When I brought the listing in, that's what I got here. So why did it pop in there? You might go, well, where did it come from? It came from the MLS. If you don't like this, you can absolutely change it. So this is populating from the MLS, completely editable. All right, next is the headline. So down here in the next section, it says headline, enter headline. So over on the right-hand side, you can see where that headline is going to go. So the headline here is buy this house now. Actually, I'm not going. Let's see. I got enough room now, and I'll put a couple of exclamation marks: 20, 21, 22, 23, 34, 25. All right. There is a 25 character limit in the headline area, and you can see that this is a required field. So you obviously don't need to hit exactly 25, but my point here is to show you that any text that I try to enter afterwards won't be added because, of course, the 25 character limit. Keep that in mind as you try to make this headline. Remember, this is the big punchline here. You're trying to really draw attention to this. This might be the information people read, but this is what they're going to try and go for. So 25 characters is tight, and sometimes you really have to be a wordsmith to make that work for you. So play around with that and make it happen. All right, next up, description. I want to be very cautious about using this description area here because you'll note that there's a little information note behind this underneath the description. The description may not show in all instances of your ad. Facebook will dynamically show the description based on their algorithm to improve the performance of the ad. So what that means is your main copy should be your main focus. What goes in there is the good stuff. This is a guarantee. They're basically saying, we promise you that this is going to go in here. However, if you put something down in the description area, they are not guaranteeing that it's going to show up in all places at all times. So don't put anything in here where you absolutely have to have it in there. That being said, at the top of this little section for description, there are a use description button and a shuffle button. This is indicating that the text that's in here, try this. You could be coming home to this. You can shuffle that and select from different pre-canned descriptions that are safe because they're not specific and they're not something that if it was missing or if it wasn't there in that very same exact way would impact the ad. So you can shuffle it around. I don't know how many there are. Maybe there's 3, I guess, 3 or 4. So choose one of those if you'd like, or using that 250 character limit, just make sure that you understand. It may not always appear that way. Once you like that, you want to hit use suggestion. And I'm going to kind of point out something to you here. There is a save button down at the bottom, and we can kind of like say, I don't want to use it here, but you're going to need to do it because this is a required field. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get a check mark up here next to text unless you choose one of the suggestions or type one of your own and click save. So I'm going to go ahead here and say view photos and videos of this home. I'm going to say use suggestion, and there it is down at the bottom, view photos and videos of this home. And I've got a little check mark in my text area here. Now, if you decide you don't like that and you want to change it, all you have to do is click in that dialog box for the description, back it out, empty it out, and it will return to showing you suggestions, which you can then, of course, shuffle or type in something of your own. And this time I'll shuffle it once, and I'll say, you could be coming home to this. I'll use that suggestion. It pops it in, locks me down, and puts that in there for me. Okay. So now the description area is under there. Steve, I'm gonna bring your chat up here because I like what you're saying. Power and emotionally charged words are great options for that description area. Excellent observation. And obviously we want to use what we are given and make the most of it. So this, you could be coming home to this. This is kind of a cop-out because this is one of the ones that they give you, and you could absolutely use that. But take the opportunity to be bold and say something really aggressive and impactful here, even if it doesn't end up. But don't make it so that it's a critical component of the message, because that may get lost, whereas this one up at the top will definitely get through. Okay. All right. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and click save, and it's going to collapse down my media section and collapse down my text section. Now, here's the thing. By default, you see that the media section, which is my next tackle here, this has already got a check mark in it. I didn't do anything. I didn't put any media in here. But by adding the listing, it automatically did. It put the listing's hero image for this piece of property into my media setting. But I can open that up. I can open the media section and say, well, slow down here, partner. Let's take a look and see if there's anything else that I might want to add. Well, let's look at this particular listing, and we see that in the media section, the images was chosen. It says we recommend using a square crop for multiple image ads. Now you can see here that this is not a square crop image. This image here is a hero shot with landscape, kind of 16 by 9, maybe or just standard landscape mode. If I go to add other pictures, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to show me pictures from the listing. So I'm going to get pictures from this listing. Now, I do have the option of overriding that and choosing add images from my library or from uploading an image. So when I say library, remember I talked in the beginning of this about how we could go to the library, our designs, and create a design for this. So we can combine an existing listing and use our own images for that listing that we created. We are not tied to just using the MLS page images. We can do our own. Okay, we can also add video. Now, when we add video, it's something important to remember here. There are different ways that videos can be put in here. One is by using a neighborhood video. Not necessarily the best choice for this type of an ad because we're talking about a listing, although you could do a complimentary ad using your neighborhood videos. What are neighborhood videos? Neighborhood videos are little short 30 to 60 second videos that you can generate in command and on a specific neighborhood in an area, and then you can attach that video here. That is not really applicable to what we're building here because we're building a Facebook ad based on a listing. So I'm going to kind of steer away from that. That's good for just quick little posts, but I wouldn't pay to put a neighborhood video up, just frankly. Then you have Browse Designs Library for a video, which is also going to be neighborhood videos, by the way. Then you can upload a video. However, uploading a video, it must be shorter than 10 minutes and smaller than 250 megabytes, and it needs to be an MP4 or an M4V. If that sounds like French or Latin or some other language that you do not know, then don't try and do stuff here. Ask somebody for assistance. Alana Bavano. I think her ears are burning. When you upload that video, you may need to wait a few minutes for that to happen. There is a little section down here that says best practices for video. Recommended length, 15 seconds or less, even though it says 10 minutes is a max. Recommended aspect ratios, vertical 4:5 for a feed placement or a full screen vertical 9:16, which is the opposite of landscape. For stories placements, full screen horizontal 16:9 for in-stream video placements, and sound enabled with captions included. Best practices. Sounds like a little bit of work. If that's what you're doing, you're producing good stuff like that, awesome. Show it off. Put it in here. If you are not doing that and you're going to use a pre-produced video, or maybe you pre-produced a video and you do not want to upload it, maybe because it's more than 10 minutes, maybe because it doesn't meet some of these things that they're suggesting here, then you can link to a video. So you can embed a linked video, which is going to end up with a URL. So this is where you can go out and grab a YouTube video. Most commonly, YouTube, Vimeo. Some real estate agents are using Vimeo as a hosting platform because they are more business-centric than YouTube. And Steve got another good one here. Blender is a great free video editing tool. Small learning curve, but great YouTube tutorials available on Blender. Blender is an awesome tool. I did a little bit of work in Blender, and it's got some good stuff going on. There are several. If you're into spending money, there's Adobe Premiere. If you're interested in something that's also free, again, learning curve, just like Blender with what Steve is saying, but DaVinci Resolve from a company called Blackmagic Design is free because a lot of the higher end features are disabled, but for what you're doing here, you can do color correction and you can do some really cool things there as well. So any tools that you know of, any tools that you can use, any friends that you have that want to do that, you can create the video, load it up on YouTube, and you can use a much larger file and much more kind of heft and a little bit better production maybe than some of these smaller short little things. Now, let's go all the way back over to choose from listing because I'm not going to do any of those things. we're going to pick some images from the listing. So this house is not very impressive to me. I'm kind of disappointed in what I've got to choose from, number one. But number two, it's just kind of generic. I'm really super, hyper, massively disappointed that the images inside here were clearly done on an iPhone or something absolutely horrific, because the walls are not straight, which is rule number one. Get your verticals right. And if you're not sure how to do that, don't take a picture. I am going to go ahead and click on a few of these pictures here, and you'll see that when I select one, I can only select one at a time, and it shows down at the bottom that I've selected, whatever image I'm clicking on. So I'm going to go ahead and these are some really poor choices, so I'll just put in a couple of them here. So I'm going to select this little guy here. I'm going to say preview and crop image. It's going to bring it in. Remember, it says square is best for most placements. So I'm going to leave it on square. And I'm just saying, okay, what's the important part of this room? And the important part of this room is the fact that this is about even the back corner is at an angle. It's like what is this, the Joker's lair? Anyways, all right. So I'll pick this guy, and that'll be my image. So when I do that, it pops it into the slot here. Here's a cool little trick. If you want to put that image first, just click it and drag it to the left. You can swap them out, put them in any order you want. You can add additional images, and I'll go ahead and put the crooked bathroom here. That's probably the crookedest room in the house right there. We'll do that one. Okay, put that in there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, this is hilarious. All right, now look what's happening on the right-hand side as I do this, though. When I bring my images in, it doesn't matter whether I move around or not, but you'll see that the ad has now turned into a carousel. So it's automatically taking care of this for me, and it's going to scroll through these pictures. What's really kind of a bummer, and I wish that they would do, which would be really neat, is to give you the option to change the captions at the lower half of each of the pictures as they go by. But you can see that it is the same description and same headline for each image. You'll also notice that these images that I am pulling in have the Keller Williams logo in the lower right-hand corner. In this case, that's where it's been placed on all the images. And there's a little piece of text here, which is almost, it literally is impossible to read from this perspective right here. But this is your ownership statement. Each office is independently owned and operated. And then the KW logo. Well, where did they come from? They came from right here. In the DBA logo section, if you have not loaded your DBA logo into KW under your marketing profile. Why did I talk about that earlier? This is why. So now into your marketing profile under DBA logo, this will automatically populate. And you can see mine is populating properly, even though it looks squashed here. Now let's chat for a second. If you have created your own design in the Designs tool in Command, you may have been tempted to add your own Market Center logo, your DBA logo there, and you may have even added your ownership statement to it, okay? Actually, you know what? I just realized those images actually say copyright. I don't think that says the ownership statement. I think that's a copyright statement because the include my ownership statement is not checked here, which would put the ownership statement on the page. And you can see now there's 2 lines. One of them is the ownership statement. I think one of them might be the copyright information. Not quite sure. Can't see it. Eyes aren't that good, but that's my guess here. You can then double check and verify that the ownership statement is correct as needed for your needs. Now, you have a choice here of putting your DBA logo left or right. And when you include the statement, I think it's going to pop it on the other side, whichever one you choose. If you ended up doing a graphic where you put those pieces in there, text with the logo or text with the ownership, and you put the logo in there, you can remove these by clicking the X and then unchecking this, and it will be there, but it will be embedded in the image. This is just making sure that when you send this out, that those 2 required elements are there. That's really what we're talking about here, okay? If you don't have your Market Center logo, you can click this button, this link right here, Browse KW Connect to get your Market Center logos. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up a new page here. and it's going to log me in to kwconnect.com. When I see this, it's going to show me the access, the KW Identity and Style Guide. As you slide down the page, you're going to see some blah, 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 great say stuff. And then about 3/4, it says Market Center Logos. And you're thinking, well, how does this thing know where I am? Well, if you go down a little bit further, you're going to see here, it says you need to put your market center number in there, 463. I put in 463. And before I even finish typing, it's like, here's your market center and here's your logos. You can preview the logos, which actually, unfortunately for you guys, oh, never did it. It previewed it. Look at that right inside the window. Cool. Did that go to Zoom as well? It did. Sweet. All right. So you can see there's the KW logo, and that's the preview. To download it, you can click download, put them in your photos folder, put them in a downloads folder, wherever you want to put them, so that you can always access them. You're going to always want these things. Okay. And these are high quality, high resolution images. Okay. Definitely get them. Even if you're not going to use them today, go get them, because you're going to need them. Okay. All right. So here we are back in Command, and we're looking at the Market Center logos, and it's all voodoo magic, really. Did you see the way it was swimming around the page? I wasn't doing that. All right. So got the ownership statement, and I'm going to go ahead and click save, and my media is done. So I can have my images in there, and I'm good to go. Let me open that back up. As a reminder, you can have a bunch of images in here. I think there is a limit of, I don't know, 5 or 6. I don't think, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Put another one here. Failed to load listings. Please select another image. We'll try that image. Try that. Crop it. Yes. Save it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how many we can go for. It's allowing me to do one more, so let's go with that one. These are terrible pictures. So that's 5. Do I get another box? Nope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is your limit. That's it. 5 pictures. Okay. So I'll close that up. I'll save it. We're good. All right. Next up, Facebook settings. Now this is where things get a little sticky for some people. So I want you to write this down. Okay. So when you are creating this Facebook ad, you are going to want to make sure, let's refresh this to put my page in there. You're kidding. Oh, that's going to be hilarious in a moment. Okay, I'm going to sidestep because apparently my Facebook doesn't show connected, even though I looked at it and we saw it verified. You and I, we all saw it together. Facebook post, connected, Facebook ads, manage. There we go. That's the account. Yes. There we go. That's good. Let's make sure the page. This is the MCTT. Oh, see, it's not checked. Connect that. All right, that should do it. Let me refresh it back over here. Well. Let's put them all in there. They should all be good to go. I will come back to that because that's an unusual message. I'm used to seeing potentially errors, but not a message like that. We'll come back, but let's talk about this. So when you're in this section, any good A/B testing options? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Steve. Testing the ads to run, the graphic design. What? Be a little more specific for me. Okay, so as we look at this, when you choose your account and page, what it's asking you to do is to make sure that you're selecting the correct Facebook account and then the page for your Facebook, which one is going to be the responsible page for the ads that you're putting in here. And again, I'm seeing right now that I'm not able to select my Facebook page. So what I'm going to end up doing in a moment, I'll kind of come back and hit this again. What I'm seeing at the moment is that I'm not viewing my page. I should be seeing the name of my page right here to be able to select it. And as we see, when I look at my Facebook pages, I'll go down one more here. Ads Manager, we'll try this again. I don't think, yeah, let's try it. Maybe it's this one that is giving me guff. I'll throw all 3 in there. Oh, look, it's doing some connection stuff. I wonder if it's been just because of a certain amount of time or anything. KWCT. Oh, look at that. Okay, I can work with that. Robert Vincent Realtor. Okay, so it wants me to do the Realtor page. Okay, all right. So we'll do Robert Vincent Realtor. There we go. And let's see if that connects it properly. We'll come back here, refresh it. If you're having problems like what I'm showing you here with these little things, feel free to reach out to me and we will get you squared away. That is something we will do for you. All right. Okay, that looks like it's done. Let's go with the streaming just for the grins. Nope. Doesn't want it. Doesn't want it. Okay. I'm gonna do. I'll do a save and we'll come back to that. Designing 2 or more ads and then determining which design is the most effective. Okay, so now I understand what you're saying. So Steve is asking, is there a way that I can A/B 2 different ads, 2 different designs to find out which one is the most effective? The one thing that's missing from your question there, Steve, is are we talking about before we publish or kind of like in a preview mode for what it would look like published? There is no A/B in this design window to do that. However, you could easily create those 2 designs, and barring the fact that we're doing a listing here, you could just pop those 2 designs into the media section and then kind of A/B between them there and decide which one you wanted to go with. So you can't do it where you can pull up 2 different listings and try 2 different versions that way. You could make 2 ads, but that's a little bit, kind of defeats the purpose of going with an A/B thing. So I hope that answered your question. So the answer is technically no. All right. So I like I said, I'm gonna have to come back to that. It's thrown me off a little bit because I'm not used to actually seeing this. Normally my Facebook ads as I do this are fine. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, the next thing is here is destination. Now this is actually the most important part of what's going on. When you're buying an ad on Facebook, you're also buying lead generation. Okay. So when you spend the money to purchase an ad on Facebook, they're going to take that information with your permission. They're going to capture the information. Look at that. It's not going to let me do it till I do a page. All right, quick save draft. I'll come back here, save it as a draft. Let me go and see if that thing is going to fight me today. I didn't expect this one. Let's see what happens. When Facebook captures your information as the leads get clicked on, when it does that, you want it to collect that information in its own system, and then it's going to feed you that information going forward. So let me see if this is, let me go back once and click on these to accept it to make sure one more time. Realtor. Yeah. And it is accepted. Okay, let's go back. Refresh this page. Bear with me, folks. That's the one thing about, well, it's the 2 things about doing live training and also, see, now all of them are connected. I got nothing else to connect. We should be good. That's got all of them. Okay. And we'll go back into that ad, we'll edit the campaign and see if we still get bad messages. By the way, what you're seeing here is the Market Center DBA logo being processed. It always does that because it always loads the freshest copy of that, if you will. You can safely each time kind of go through. There we go. That's much better. Okay, this is what I'm used to seeing. So now, yeah, I know it's a required field. I'm teaching the class. Of course I know it's a required field. So when we are selecting the Facebook account and page, we're determining the page that is responsible for this ad. It is really important for those of you that have multiple business pages, and you can see here that I do. So I'm going to go ahead and choose I'll do the Realtor one because that's the one that I kind of pseudo use. So it's going to say your account is Robert Vincent, and the page that you're making responsible for this ad is the Robert Vincent Realtor Keller Williams. That being said, now we can go down here and say, Facebook, please collect the leads as they're clicked. You do not want to use site or landing page unless you have paid or you are capable of building a landing page that will collect the proper information, track the leads clicked, and put those leads into command and add them through the lead entry system. If you're comfortable doing that, fine. Now, let's get real for a second. Why does this even exist? Well, there are some people that are purchasing the ads on Facebook, but they're redirecting them to a third-party site for collection. So instead of Facebook getting the form and there's the person saying, here's my name, here's my email, here's my phone number, I'd love to hear more about this house. Instead of Facebook doing that, some people will pay a third party to get that, capture that information, and then deliver to them in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, okay? That's fine, but that's not what we're doing here because we are using command to fully manage this ad. So in doing so, you always want to use the one on the left, and that will make sure that the leads come back to command. Otherwise, they're not coming back. Next up is the button label. The button label is literally this words learn more. It's really exciting that we have three options: learn more, sign up, or apply now. So these three choices are fairly limited with the call to action buttons. And these call to action buttons are what people will click on. In our case for real estate, learn more is probably the best way to go, unless it's an event, sign up, or if it's an apply now, maybe you're promoting a mortgage application or something like that. But generally speaking, learn more is most often used for the for the listings that we put in here. Now, the next thing is what happens when they click the button. Now, we've already captured their lead information. So let's be clear. They clicked on the button that said learn more, and then that took them to a page where they put their information. It says, my name is Robert. I'd love to hear about this house. Then where do we send them? Because we got to give them a kind of a win, right? We want to make sure that when they click on this, they have some place that they can go. Well, that's where we get into landing pages that were created for this property by you in command. Now, I have a few landing pages that I've built, and this here is another topic altogether. And what we're looking at here, I think I took out a bunch of them. I got rid of a bunch of them. I'll go to Agent Site homepage. What this is you can build a landing page for this property that's essentially a standalone flyer on the web. And when you do that, after you've captured their information, you can take them to that landing page. You can also take them to the MLS page. You can also take them to Google, or you can take them to YouTube. It doesn't matter. The point is, you're going to need to take them somewhere because they've done what you asked. They clicked on the button to learn more. So take them somewhere. Give them something. Even if it's something as simple as a PDF with details about the property. It's kind of lame, but that's the minimum that I would do. Build them something nice to go to. Give them a treat. Here's your lollipop, kid. Thanks for coming in. So that's what this is for. Talking about building landing pages is for another day. All right. Now down here under the audience for this, we can figure out where this is going to be targeted. And this is literally what we're talking about, is targeting. So right now, this is automatically populating with Sulphur, Louisiana within a radius of 20 miles because of the listing at the top of the page. That's not where I want to target this ad. I want to target this ad locally for me. I'm trying to get people that want to move down there, so I want to target local people. So instead of using the settings that were default, I'm going to use custom settings, and I'm going to say, all right, target a custom audience, United States, not Sulphur, Louisiana. I'm going to take that out of there. I'm going to type in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And it's going to look for Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's got a little thing that was running off to the side. It says, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Or is it New Portsmouth, New Hampshire, sub-city? I didn't even know there's a place called New Portsmouth. What? Okay. New Portsmouth. I'm in. Steve, the landing page with the house and the link to the KW mobile app. Digging it. Love it. There is a maximum distance of the radius that you select of 50 miles. So if you try to type in 55, you punch it in there and it'll pop back down to 50. So 50 is the maximum, 25 is the default. Now, who is this going to? Right now, it's going to a custom audience for this location. What is the criteria that Facebook is going to use to select those people to put this in front of their eyeballs? Well, that's down in where we determine ad interests. Now, before we get into this, there's a lot of discussion on what this really means. If I've got 100,000 people in the Portsmouth area, I don't, but if I had 100,000 people in the Portsmouth area and 4,000 of those people said that they loved Louisiana somewhere on their Facebook page, and if you think for a moment that if you type the word Louisiana on your Facebook page, you're not going to receive this ad, you're crazy. Because Facebook knows everything. There is not a single character that you type that isn't thrown into an algorithm somewhere. So if I've got 1,000 people that typed in something about Louisiana, just got back from Louisiana, this ad is going to show up in front of their face, okay? That's automatic. Facebook is going to run an algorithm to take the information in the ad and put it in front of the most likely targets for exposure. But you can assist this. But assisting can be detrimental if you go too far. Here's what you can do. You can say expert targeting and say, I want to include people who have X interests. And there is a list here of a couple things that people like to do. So there's a lot in here, actually. There's a ton. You can go through this one day and look at all the different things and say, oh, wow, that's great. At the end of the day, you don't try to select all of this because that's not really doing anything. If you're trying to target something by selecting everybody, then there's no targeting. So be selective and say, okay, so maybe in this case here, I don't know, maybe the house is next to a data security company. Boom. So I'll put a checkbox in anybody who's shown any interest in data security, which in terms of the people who have expressed an interest in data security is 1,275,176. Day trading has been expressed by 12,285. Debt card is 73 million. So I'm being kind of selective, but here's the kicker. If I do this, I'm not targeting all 1.2 million people. I'm targeting the percentage of people within 25 miles of Portsmouth that fall into that category. So 1, 2, 20, I don't know. The thing is, it's that extra little bit can help, but if there's nobody in that region, that 100,000 area, if there's nobody in there that has actually shown this interest, if there's just a low volume, then it's not going to pick those people. And it's going to say, well, I don't have anything data relevant there, so I'm just going to go back to my old algorithm and do it. So this is what's going on. It's using it when it's valuable, and it's going to ignore it if it doesn't find it to be valuable. It's not going to make it detrimental, but it's going to kind of be, whatever. So if you try to do too many of these things, all you're doing is really narrowing the focus to the point where you may not end up with anything that really works, and Facebook will just revert to its original settings. So people who are similar to those who have already liked your Facebook page, that will be taken into consideration by all means, Steve. This is going to play a bunch of algorithms, including this, and in conjunction with the people that like your Facebook page. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen in here. I'm of the mindset that you want to be targeted, but not blanket. So surgical sometimes is better, and let Facebook do the algorithm. I have talked to a lot of agents who've had some really good luck with this, so don't try and kill yourself doing too much here. I'm going to take that data security off of there. Now, there is another one, by the way. I'll throw one in here so that it will open up the next one. So when I click save and I add one, it says include people who match. So I've added accounting just to toss something in there. There is a secondary option that will open up to give you another target. So while I can put multiple checkboxes in one, it's kind of like doing it as an and. But if I do these two side by side, they kind of become ors. I hope that makes sense to some of you. So right now I'm creating two separate statements and I'm saying, okay, this and keeping on going through. So that will kind of target it down, but be careful. And don't be surprised if you have to run a few of these as experiments to see what works best for you. Some agents have little secret algorithms that they use and they get great results because they've kind of dialed in their system. All right, enough of that. I'll back down out of that now and let's go ahead and finish this up. We're actually over by a few minutes. I'll apologize. I do want to finish this up, so I'll go through this last part pretty quickly. In the duration and budget, which is the last channel, there's only a few things to think about. If you are running one channel, what I mean is we only chose Facebook for this. If you're only running one channel, then all of the money that you're spending on this, in this case $30 total, is going to be put into advertising into that one channel. If you had chosen that you were going to go to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, then the money would be divided up and you could specify where that money went into which channel and to what percentages. But I'm keeping it simple here and just going to say that I want the ad to run on a given day, let's say Friday, and I want it to run for X amount of days, 10 days. Maybe I want to run it for less or more. And then I want to make my budget $30. It will tell you 10 days, $30, starting November 12th, one channel, $3 per day per channel for a total of $30. Pretty easy, okay? You can change some things around here and work with them as needed, but generally you're going to want to experiment to see what the results are based on what your goals are. So I'm going to go ahead and click save on this very simple algorithm here for the budget, and that'll be done. I forgot to do the lead settings. I got to keep you around for a couple minutes because this is actually really important. I can't believe I skipped it. When somebody clicks on the ad, when captured by Facebook, the leads come back to you. You now have these two awesome tools that we did not have until 2 months ago. Lead settings allow you to automatically tag the leads that come in, so you don't have to go back to the Facebook feed where it comes in and tag them manually. You can tag them before they ever arrive. And so that would be for the address, which is whatever it is in 404 Hollywood Lane. I'll go grab that. So I'm going to tag them with that address. And I'm going to create a new tag. And let's say all my Facebook tags are purple. And I'll say, great. Now 404 Hollywood Lane. Anything that comes in is going to tag with that. And we can auto apply a smart plan to the leads that come in to immediately send out an email as kind of a welcome and thank you for clicking on the link. Before you even reach out to them, as soon as it comes in, thank you so much for contacting us about the property at 404 Hollywood Lane. My name is Steve. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you in about 30 minutes. I look forward to speaking with you. And you, as the agent, need to commit to what you're doing, because what you're doing is you're setting the tone for the communication with these clients. Okay. Now, one of the bad things in the reality of the world is if you end up doing all this great work and you're getting garbage back because some people just put in garbage information and they're not really being sincere about what they are, just bad leads. You'll still want to go through your leads before you start making the phone calls because some of them are going to be obvious, Mickey Mouse. Okay. So keep that in mind, but you can add them to a smart plan that doesn't matter because you're not wasting any money here. You're just going to go ahead and say, hey, thanks for contacting me. I'm going to be reaching out to you shortly. Is there a best time? Would you like to give me a call back? Here's my number, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach them to some old smart plan here so that you can see it. Once that's done, the Facebook leads will come back to you. They will end up on the previous page where we looked. And because I'm not running an ad, I can't show you that. But that will kind of put that in there, start up the tagging, start up the lead generation. And then when it starts coming in, you can start making those phone calls. And that's it. I'm going to save this as a draft for now. And Steve, that's a difficult question that you asked. Would I recommend $30 or more? I'm not the right person to ask for that. I would suggest having that conversation on the Facebook group. Put that into the Facebook group and see what people are getting See what reactions you get from other agents who run Facebook ads. Because me, it's a little bit of I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm really not the right person to give you advice in terms of recommendations on money spent. Other agents who have experienced it, they're the ones who can definitely help you out more than I can. All right, that's going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys got some good stuff. I can't show you the returns from the Facebook ads, although I do have an agent of mine out there who I've spoken with a couple of times, and we're going to try and put something together where I'm going to show her Facebook returns and show what's coming back. And Karen, I'm talking to you. I still haven't reached out to you yet. We're going to get together. And we're going to do that as a presentation to show you how it looks when it comes back and the success that you can have with it. In the meantime, that's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen here, and we'll switch over to that. I'll show you the sharing window should be showing you. Yep, both of them are showing that. Right now, you can reach out to me at robert.vincent@kwclm. You can always book time with me at timewithrobert.com. Zoom room where we meet, anytime we meet, is KW Tech TV. YouTube live streams are all at kwtechtube.com. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook, which I see a bunch of you are, that is at facebook.com/groups/KWCLM or our KWCLM group. That's it for today. That's it for Tech Week. Tuesdays are the good stuff here. Hope you got some good things. Remember, go to kwtechtube.com. If you missed the DocuSign class this morning, we did a really cool coverage of splitting, combining, and in-person signing, which I didn't mean it to rhyme when I wrote it, but I kind of dig it, and now I'm thinking about writing a rap for it. So go check that out. Have an awesome day, and I will be talking to you guys soon. Take care.